experience. You talk about guys like Jarquez and Buster. How excited you mean? What's been the one message that you've tried to really build in your room before you guys get into spring ball and when things really pick up?
The one thing that I've told them, no excuses. I don't believe in excuses from class, on the field, off the field. All those things come into one thing. If you eliminate excuses, everything else will work out. Just those guys, Jaquez, Buster, Day, Bush, and all the guys in the room have everything I've asked them to do since I've been there done. Go to class, be on time. Coach asks you to do something, do it. Yes, ma'am, no, sir. And those things are going to help us on the field. But the room is amazing, and I'm excited.
From being in the SEC, what have you noticed? I know you played Big 12, but if there's any differences that you can see, Coach, what would those be?
Up front, the D-line is unreal. Not saying the Big 12 don't have D-line, but in the SEC, every week you're going to play against probably the first, second-round draft pick every week. O-line is kind of a skill guys. I think it's equal. Big 12 have skill guys also, but the D-line is on a different level.
You guys got the cornerbacks that you were able to Nick Turner comes to mind. I saw a social media picture with Nick on the position. Talk about your recruiting philosophy, because I see a lot of why not us. Talk about that.
Man, so with Nick, it's crazy. Coach Pittman already had sealed the deal. Coach Pittman, I think the second day on the job, the third day, he flew down to see Nick. So I just had to come and don't mess it up. But Nick dad, I got in contact with his dad, talked to Nick. Nick is a hard worker. He's from New Orleans. I'm from New Orleans. So people I knew down there spoke very highly of Nick. So, okay, let me meet the kid and see how the kid is. And came up with FaceTime. And he was like, I want to be there. I was like, okay, if you want to be here, I want you here. So I'm all in, and we've been all in. And Nick, I'm excited to get here on campus.
For people that are listening or watching or sitting down, what are some of the criteria saying that you look for when going out? Well, hello. It's the Thursday edition here on OTH, on the Hill with Pat Jenkins Sports Talk Radio on KDSJ 479. And we have a really good show today. We're going to open it up for the first, the second, and the last segment. You'll be able to call us with any type of question you may have for Demetrius or myself. Third segment, we're going to have the newest offer to the University of Arkansas came from the defensive backfield coach, Sam Carter, as we're going to have Chase Lowry. He's out of Frisco, Texas, Frisco High School, the big-time 2021 prospect, just recently was offered, and we're going to talk to him momentarily, find out where Arkansas sits, a lot of other schools, and he's got a lot to say about Coach Carter. We'll find out how that relationship is starting to develop. Really, really good conversation I had with Chase leading into today's interview. And the one thing I can say, Demetrius, and we talk about it all the time, going to be a new type of aggression in that secondary. I mean, you look at the guys that we've had on the show, film that we've watched, our listeners, and what stands out, and we've said it, aggression and ability to play the football are going to be paramount going forward if you're to be a defensive back or a safety in this Arkansas program going forward.
Yeah, I just think you're going to have to be a different type of athlete, kind of more the old school style. You're going to have to be 6'2", lanky, long, very athletic, be able to run, have very good ball skills, because I think when you look at the athletes, they're just not recruiting guys that play defensive back anymore. They're recruiting athletes at the defensive back position, and I think when you recruit guys like that, you get a different caliber athlete versus the guy just only playing defensive back.
It came out today. The NCAA has announced that on July 25th, football will be allowed to resume practice on the field. No pads, walk-through workouts for about the first, 6 weeks, which I think is going to be really, really good because, when you look at staffs like Coach Pittman's put together here at Arkansas, you look at the new staff over at Ole Miss, Missouri, and then also, too, at Mississippi State. Across the country, SEC is just not. They got new coaches at Boston College, new coaches at Florida State, new coaches at Memphis. So with that being said, I think this is going to work out, Demetrius, really well. I think it might be something that we're going to add into college football, the OTA type of stuff, and kind of like the NFL does it. Where are you at with that? I'm one of the proponents. I really like it. I think it's going to be really, really good. But where are you at with that?
I like it when I'm able to get my body in shape and then immediately go into what it is that I'm doing. I think sometimes those layoffs can kind of deteriorate your body because you put them through such a rigorous style and to getting into shape, and then you take that summer break right before the season starts. So I think it's going to be great for the athletes when you just think about the ability to go from being conditioned to right into playing. I think you're mentally going to be a lot more physical than you would if you take that little break off.
Absolutely, and I think with the virtual meetings that the coaches have had with with their positions, I think that's going to be really, really well. Not only for Arkansas, but I think across the country. How you prepared throughout your virtual meetings, and it goes back to how your kids accept the information that they're being taught. The meetings, how those meetings are going, and from all intents and purposes, Demetrius, we've heard from Coach Odom, Coach Briles, and Coach Pittman, and they all seem, said to a man, the virtual meetings and the teaching in those class sessions have gone really well. Feel like the kids understand the scheme both offensively and defensively, and are really excited to get back out and start to execute what they've learned. I think when you talk to this football team, and you see some of the kids out and about town, Demetrius, the excitement that you get. I had the chance to run into TJ Hammonds down at one of our favorite spots, KDK's Chicken, and just the question was posed, how is the mood of the team, and all of them feel really good. They really have bought into what Sam has brought to Arkansas. The strength and conditioning program, we keep talking about it. He was like at a loss for words for how highly he thought of Jamel Walker, and he's not the only one I've heard. I mean, Jamel Walker has come into this program and really hit the ground running, got these kids excited, and I think they understand what it's going to take in the SEC.
Absolutely. I think Coach Walker has recruited a lot of these kids just as much as the coaches have. When you think about, I want to say it was Cooley's mother, the quarterback, yes, that spoke highly of Miss Deborah. Yeah, she spoke highly of the strength and conditioning coach, and like I said, I think he has just as much to do with these kids deciding to come to Arkansas, just with the way he develops the bodies. And we've heard things from players like Rakeem Boyd saying this is the best he's ever felt.
Yeah.
So I just think it's a testament to the staff. I really give kudos to Coach Sam Pittman for what he's done. We haven't even talked about what the effect that Barry Odom's going to have on this defense. The type of effect that Kendall Briles
is. Big time Barry Odom fan.
Huge.
Have been. And I want to tell our listeners, this doesn't go back just because he's here at Arkansas. Demetrius and I, as we went out to the SEC media days, Demetrius has always made, hearing the Missouri part of it really, really important to me. He sees a lot in Barry, and the sit down that we have, and we're going to play the Barry Odom sit down. I think you're going to really like it, but Demetrius, from a defensive standpoint, for those that watched the Barry Odom defense when he was at Memphis, and then when he took that defense first couple years, went to Missouri as they were winning the SEC East, and then became the head coach. One thing that you did see with the defenses when he was in charge is they were very aggressive. They were very sound tacklers, and they were very multiple. You didn't know where they were coming from, and just look at all the defensive ends and types of players from Missouri and Memphis that have had the opportunity to move on to the professional ranks. So I'm really excited to see what type of scheme. I know they've talked about a little 3-5, Demetrius. We've heard that. We possibly could see a 3-4 or a 4-3. I just think the excitement of what they're going to do week in and week out is something that will be new for SEC coaches, in particular the West, to get used to.
Absolutely. I don't think this is going to be something that they're going to just quickly adapt to. I just think when you got offensive mind like Kendall Briles, and you're going against him every day in practice. These are two great minds. Even the SEC understands that when with the rankings, when they ranked the top coordinators for offensive defense, I want to say
that was big time, dog.
Yeah, was it 2 and 6
I think
or
we got that
2 and 5
somewhere? We'll have to pull it up. He's always on. Demetrius will get it up at some point, but number 2.
Yeah, and like I was saying, I think that's really going to exponentiate our growth. I think what we saw last year was not a real depiction of what the University of Arkansas really holds. A lot of people, even Barry Odom says what really stuck out to him last year was not the talent that was it was a lack of effort.
Yeah, which brings my question to you: being on the field as you were last year and as you are each and every season, watching the mood of that football team, we have the advantage that we can be down around the sideline, hear some things, and have privy to some audio that maybe most fans don't. Demetrius, I mean, when you felt and were down on the sideline, what was the general mood of that entire football team? Because I never really got a connection, coaching staff to players, players to coaching staff. What was your
And I think you just said connection. There was no connection. There was no accountability amongst the players and coaches. Yeah, it was always somebody else's fault. Nobody really wanted to step up.
Talk
Nobody.
about the conversation, not without revealing any names that you had the privy of hearing during one of the football games.
It was just it would be times where the normal coach, a player messes up and there's no scolding. He pats him on the back and tell him, well, you'll get it next time. And I understand that is a piece of coaching. You do have to balance that, but when you're losing the game 30-something-0, you can't be talking about, well, you get them next time.
You can't act like a teacher
so
all the time.
So again, I think that this coaching staff will have a lot more accountability amongst these players and really put the game on their back, because I think last year you wasn't sure if the coaches were putting in the effort as far as game planning, getting strategies ready, making sure the schemes that they were running fit who we had. And I think the difference between this staff is they understand that. I think they're going to go in and game out, really preparing for their opponent, really having an understanding of what they can and cannot do. I think they're going to have a better understanding of the personnel that they are able to put out there, and I think you're going to see a drastic difference of the product that's on the field.
And also, too, I do feel like with the experience factor at certain positions, at the wide receiver, particularly at running back with Raheem Boyd, the offensive line has been much maligned, but when you think about it, Demetrius, and for our listeners, Raheem Boyd has rushed for quite a amount of yards. I mean, this was a 1,000-yard back. I think he was in the top 4 in rushing. They did give up a lot of sacks last year, so when I said yesterday, I had to go back and I thought about it when I said the talent level. I want to retract that a little bit. I think it was just the youth, and then not being able to be in positions to really, excel at your highest skill level. I think that's what it was. Plays were being called that just weren't working, Demetrius, at certain times. You did a lot of scratching of your head offensively when you watched this football team.
And not only that, I just felt like they didn't utilize the talent. Like, I understand Traylon Burks was one of the best offensive players, but there was no reason he should have been catching punts.
Tell me, Demetrius, how that man of his caliber and talent level goes the entire year with the matchups that he had, didn't catch a touchdown pass. How many times did you on the field see a 5'10", 5'11" guy try to guard a 6'4" Trey Knox or a Traylon Burks or 6'3" Mike Woods, and nothing ever? But how does Traylon with that much talent not have a touchdown? How surprising was that for you?
And again, I credit that to coaching. That's a coaching and that's a strategic problem. I don't think that's a personnel, because I think when you throw a Traylon Burks, a Trey Knox, and a Mike Woods, no matter what caliber, I don't care if it's Big Ten, SEC, those 3 receivers can stack up against any defensive back. Yes. Now, I'm not going to say they're going to win every battle, but if I had to go 50-50 with our receivers and another person's defensive backs, I give it to our receivers. But again, I think you scratched it when you said it was due to the offensive line and giving up so many sacks. And if we aren't giving up sacks, we were giving up a lot of pressure. I think that was a big factor into the strategy of what the coaches were able to do week in and week out.
Absolutely. And also too, those are just 3 we mentioned. You have Colin Jackson, Tyson Morris, Davion Warren, Darren Turner will be one that I think will be a name his freshman year we really hear a little bit about. I think that kid's going to make a lot of plays. And, the list goes on and on. You Shamar Nash comes to mind, a redshirt freshman from out of the Memphis area. One thing Justin Stepp has been able to do is have continuity at his position. These kids like Mike Woods, year 3. Trey, year 2. Tyson Morris, Coylin Jackson, year 3 with coach. So they understand the demands at that position and what Coach Stepp is going to be asking for. Now, you couple that with the fact of experience and a great running game with an okay experienced offensive line, and then you throw Kendall Browse, at whom considered the 4th overall offensive coordinator, but tandem-wise, you put Kendall with this group of guys and throw a Felipe Franks in there, Demetrius. Man, I'm telling you, with the experience, they may be young, but this team is an experienced football team because they've had to grow up a lot sooner than most teams in the SEC or most coaches would like. But I really think this offense has a chance with Kendall if they can stay healthy and Felipe comes out early and gets some momentum, Demetrius. man, this could be a very balanced offense. I told us that 83% of the time that Kendall Browse on the initial drive gets a first down when they take the field, they result in points.
You know, I think the key to this team is just the physicality. I think if they can go into this 6-week, stint or mini camp, whatever you want to call it, I think if they can come in and establish an identity physically, this would be a good team.
What's your take on that? I mean, how are you about that? July 25th, that for those that just tuned in, the NCAA will allow all collegiate football programs to resume some activity on the football field. Non-contact, but, to be able to go through kind of like OTAs. Where are you at with that, Demetrius? I love it. I think it's going to be great for programs. The newer schools, Mississippi State, Arkansas, Ole Miss, and Missouri. Those staffs to be able to go through the 6-week period before you get into the August, which is regular fall camp, and start the contact period.
Like I said, I like it. Anytime you can go from working out to going straight into the season, which it'll be a shorter break than usual. I like it. Again, I just think the key to Arkansas is getting the physicality and getting the brand established in this 6-week mini camp. I know we can't necessarily hit the field and do any thudding, but I think if they can just instill it from a workout, or I should say take it to the next level, because I know they've been trying to instill the physicality just with the weight sessions and whatever contact they were able to have, if any. But I just think that's the key. I think if they can come out with a physical mindset and come in this first game, because Arkansas is a team that has nothing to lose. I mean,
absolutely.
With their 4-28, the last
3 years?
3 years.
8-20.
I mean, there's really nothing to lose here.
One conference win in the last 3 conference seasons. One.
So I think these guys are going to come out with a chip on their shoulder, and I think now they have a coach that they're willing to run through a wall.
Right.
We were talking to a kid earlier, and he was talking about this is one of the kids that Sam Pittman was recruiting in. Yesterday was his birthday. He was talking about how this coaching staff was the only one to call him on his birthday, and that goes a long way. And I think if Coach Pittman can do that with kids that he doesn't even have on campus, just imagine what he's doing with kids that are on his team now that he has to, put energy into, build a relationship to get a result out of. And I think when you see that first game and you see this group of Razorbacks come out and play for Sam Pittman, I think you're just going to see a whole different type of mentality, and you're going to see what we've been raving about all this summer, because there was a lot of people that was looking at me and Pat crazy when we were first saying, hey, let's go with Sam Pittman.
That's what we need to do, Demetrius. At any media outlet in the state of Arkansas, if you had Sam Pittman, anybody on November 11th, because that's when the show came out, November 11th, I'll never forget it. If you had Sam Pittman as a possible coaching candidate, or if you could find any media outlet in the state that had that,
you won't.
Can you please screenshot it?
You won't.
And send it to us?
You won't, because, again, everybody's so caught up with, he doesn't have the head coach experience, and that they don't understand life is about relationships.
Right.
You can have the most money, you can have the prettiest face, but if you don't have the right relationships to really get the things that you need outside of financial stability, it's not going to work. And I think that was the missing piece to why Sam Pittman is going to be so great. We were talking to a recruiting coordinator earlier, and we were asking him what was the difference between this staff and last year's staff, or even Brett Bielema's staff. And the one thing that stood out to me, he said the amount of people that are calling Sam Pittman to give them players.
Right.
To send them players to say, hey, guy, you might want to check this kid out. He's getting looked at by such and such, but I want him to go to your university. And you don't find many high school coaches that you can build those pipelines and relationships with. And I think, again, that's the special thing about this coaching staff. They have so many relationships that they have such a good rapport amongst the nation, that you have high school top tier high schools out of Louisiana, top tier high schools out of Florida, calling Sam Pittman to say, hey, please come check out this kid. I would love for him to play under your program. I know what type of coach you are.
Well, let's get a quick break, and we're going to hear some Barry Oderman. Then when we come back, we're going to make our way for more Hall Guys segment here on KDSJ 479. We're going to Frisco, Texas, Frisco High School. We're going to catch up with newly offered 2021 defensive back prospect Chase Lowry. He's up next. It's On the Hill with Pat Jenkins on KDSJ 479. Back in a bit. Not a lot of times put together what you guys were able to put together, but did an amazing job. Talk about, how stressful that was, or, what was that process like?
Well, really, when I got the phone call and got the job offered to me and said yes, my wife and 3 kids, we jumped in the car and drove to campus. That was on a Friday because I knew there was an official visit weekend. I wanted to get around those guys, and I wanted to get around Coach Pittman. So from that moment until sitting here today, I feel like it's kind of been on fast forward. Just you're going and getting adjusted and trying to start to build relationships with your team. That's the most important thing. And now that we can't be on the road in February, that's going to be such a huge part of what we're trying to get done. But also this staff working together and the direct approach that Coach Pittman gave us, and the way that he charged us with going out and let's hit these numbers and these spots. He did a great job from starting on whatever weekend that was to finishing yesterday. I would feel pretty strongly saying if you just looked at recruiting rankings, I don't know anybody that's ever started at 118 and finished 29 in basically a month's time. Coach Pittman needs a lot of credit for that, on how he assembled the staff and then how, with a direct approach, he went and got it done.
Talk about your defensive philosophy. What will that be like here at Arkansas? Will it be aggressive style, or how does Gary Oldham
the thing that I want to really take a hard look at is what we currently have on our roster, and then the coaches that have success over long periods of time, they're able to adjust to the personnel that they have. I could go draw up a blitz from the field and the boundary and all that, but if our kids can't do it, it's of no value. We've got to be great teachers, but we also have to give them a skill set, a tool belt on what they can go do, put them in position to use the skills that they've got where they can go play fast, and they can play confident, and they can play free, but doing it within the structure of how we're going to play. But if you look at toughness and grit and playing together and playing hard and doing it for 4 quarters and finding ways to get off the field, either turnovers or takeaways, third down percentage, all those things go into core beliefs and values and foundational approach on building the defense. But man, if you can get the guys playing together and getting them playing hard and finding ways that they care about the guy lined up.
Welcome back. It's our Thursday edition of On the Hill Sports Talk Radio here on KDSJ 479, as we're with you each and every day, Monday through Friday from 1 to 2 p.m. And real quick, before we get on to our featured guest, we need to give a shout out to the folks that make this possible for each and every day, Monday through Friday. With that being said, Lindsay and Associates, with an office location in Fayetteville, an office location also too in Rogers. That's Locomotion. They're located just below the Northwest Arkansas Mall. Corey Beck's Custom Painting, and the one we talk about all the time, and the one I like, KDK's Chicken. It's located down at 989 South Razorback Road. Go see Keith, Kathy. Get some of that love, and like they say, it's not your mama's. I say this, best chicken and waffles in the South. Meet us there or beat us there. That's KDK's Chicken at 989 South Razorback Road. But now on to our featured guest. Sam Pittman came to the University of Arkansas, and he had these things called the Hall Guys, he and his staff. And they're trying to put together the 21 pit crew class, and they made their way down to check out Frisco, Texas, Frisco High School's own Chase Larry, the new 2021 defensive back offer. And he's with us. Chase, welcome to OTH, my man.
Hey, how's it going?
Going really, really well. You just a little over 2 hours ago, Chase, was offered by head defensive backs coach Sam Carter of the University of Arkansas. Talk about that conversation, what it was like to get that first offer, because I think this is the first one in the SEC for you. But talk about that conversation, playing in that conference, and how's recruiting going for you heading into your senior campaign?
Well, Carter, went straight into it. He told me he hit me up and said call him real quick, and so I did. Right when we initiated the call, he started talking about how we need people in the scene, and then he was just like, "But to be honest, you gotta be, if you really interested, now you gotta be ready to eat, because here in the SEC." Especially when we are in the West, play dogs every week. He's like, if your main goal is the NFL, it's also a great place to go to, because you're playing the best of the best NFL talent each and every week.
Go ahead, Chase.
Oh, and then he just kept going on about that for a little bit, and then how they used me.
You have the advantage, Chase, also too, to play in an area there and there in the Dallas Fort Worth area, Frisco. When you always face top notch competition at receiver and on the offensive side of the football each and every Friday night. Talk about how that's going to help when you do make that Power Five jump. You know, being able to play the quality of high school football that you do in the state of Texas.
It's gonna help me because each and every week I'm gonna see, especially this year, gonna see all types of different receivers. I'm gonna see some guys who are big, some bigger guys. Might see some. I'm gonna definitely see. It's one of my good friends. He's a quicker guy, a speedy guy, which helps me just improve my technique, and then like how to really. It also helps me like really get into like watching film, and it's just gonna help me overall jump in that next level doing all because you have to do all the same exact things.
Now, I know you said he's your good friend at the receiver, but he's not your good friend when y'all competing, huh? It's a whole
Oh
different
no,
thing. Don't
sir.
say nothing to me for 4 quarters, right?
Oh yes, sir.
Well, talk about other schools, Chase, that are showing you a lot of love, you know, like they say on social media. Who are you hearing from heavily outside of Arkansas?
I'm here from Memphis, Purdue, Kansas State, Arizona, Michigan State, Pitt, Iowa State, and Washington State and Oregon State a lot. Keeping in contact with them. I've been keeping in contact with them recently, and then just borrow what calls I would say.
Now, who do you watch? And I should say this, you know, when you finished up with that senior year, I mean, your junior campaign, sat down with your defensive staff, what Chase did you feel real good about? And what are some of the things and notes that you wrote that you were working on here in the offseason so that you can have the type of senior year at the defensive back that Chase Lowry wants to have?
The things I liked were during junior season. I one of my weaker points heading into that junior season was playing off, and at Briscoe helped me a lot playing off. Not just man, but also like some zone reads off, and then it just helped me be more physical coming in for tackles. And it's something I've been focusing on this off season is becoming more explosive, not just like out my breaks, and then also like jumping wise, and then getting more physical on the line, and then my speed.
Now, who are some of the NFL or collegiate DBs that you like to pay attention to, Chase, and maybe take parts of what they do on Saturday and Sunday and then add it to how you play on Friday nights?
Well, when it comes to technique wise, Stephon Gilmore and Darius Slay, I think, are two of the best corners in the NFL. But then when it comes to attitude towards on the field, I watch Jalen Ramsey because you got DB, you got if you
Yeah,
gotta be able to talk, you got to be able to back it up.
yeah.
So and then there's those three right there are very influential in my game
I'm
and
just
just how I play overall.
It's just something about being a DB in the Chase that you got that attitude. I mean, I agree with you. If you're gonna play DB, you better have the talent to back up the mouth that you're gonna take to the football field. I play DB, so I'm with you on that 100%. But I
Yes,
tell you
sir.
what, I'm coming to Frisco because I got a nephew at Carrollton. I'll probably be down there this area. I'm gonna come over to Frisco High School. I'm gonna get popcorn and a 20-ounce 7-Up, going to the top bleacher. I got my pad and I'm scouting you, Chase Lowry. What will I write about the football player I saw in Chase Lowry for 4 quarters once that ball was kicked off?
You'll see uh, dynamic player, explosive player, not just on the defensive side, also on the special team, return game, and offensive side of the ball. And then also a leader, team leader, because have to, even no matter what situation, if we're winning, losing, just gotta be always be able to keep everybody in check, no matter what's going on. And then I think those are the things you'll pick up from if you come to the game.
Being a senior, do you plan on signing in the December period and getting to your school of choice that second semester, which would be your last semester of high school? Or, Chase, is that something that you and your family still hadn't decided and you may still wait till that first Wednesday traditionally in February and sign? How is that? Is that you discussed that or still in the works?
Obviously, we're still in the works. As of right now, we've talked about it a little. But as of right now, probably February, and the worst thing summer.
Hmm. Now, when do you plan on, breaking down all your schools, or have you come up with a final list of schools and who you're going to be taking your official visits to? Yeah, Chase.
No, sir, I haven't. But I've talked to my parents. We're about to start doing that sometime like mid July.
Okay.
Um, and start like to make that final list. Like I've started to cut down a little bit, but like I'm gonna make that final list sometime in July and just be prepared to like take some of those official visits during the season and go up to some games just to see the whole campus and the environment.
Will Arkansas be one of those schools to possibly get one of those visits?
Yes, sir.
Well, let's have a little fun when everybody know we're talking with Chase Lowry of Frisco, Texas. Frisco High School, a big-time 2021 defensive back prospect, was just offered today by head defensive back Coach Sam Carter and the Razorbacks, Coach Odom. They'd love to have Chase call the Razorbacks, but we're riding around Frisco. Chase, me and you,
Yes,
you with
sir.
the OG. What is the first 5 songs, my man, on the playlist?
First 5 songs. Well, I gotta go. Two of them are the same artist. I got two of them. One called "Neighbors" by J. Cole, one of my
Okay.
favorite rappers. Then the other one, J. Cole, called "Fire Squad," or actually "Tale of Two Cities."
I'm
I have to
with
go
it.
with that.
Okay.
And then the three other ones, then just just depending on the mood. Or first 3 songs I'll play. After that, back to same or different artists, but two other songs. Go to Kendrick Lamar, and I
Okay.
have to play "Humble." And then after that, I'll probably play "How Much a Dollar Really Cost." And then
Uh-oh.
that last song, I have to go with Jay Z, or actually, no, I have to go with Kanye and play "Stronger."
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I'm riding with you. I'm riding with you, Chase, big time. See, I'm gonna have to find you when I come down to Carrollton so I can hear these songs. And we could
Yes,
actually say,
sir.
hey, we the OG actually did do an in-person 5 songs on the playlist ride. We'll have to do that. You down with that?
Yes, sir.
All right, well, here we go. Last question, Chase, and I would greatly thank you for taking time out of your day to be a guest here on OTH. But when football is done with, for Chase Lowry of Frisco, Texas, Frisco High School, he's played collegiately, realized his dream and had a chance to play professionally and hung it all up. What does Chase Lowry plan to do with life after football?
I been planning on signing like going something somewhere like as an agent, sports agent. To help players like find like work out contracts and deals, and it's been always like a little dream of mine. It's an agent.
I can see that. Hey, if you come to Arkansas, you know there's a professional team that their owner always watches. But I'm not trying to recruit and I'm not trying to tamper at all. But Josh, Chase, thanks for taking time out here, man. Listen up. Now we want to get you back on here and do some Chase Lowry updates as the season goes on. You down with that?
Yes, sir.
All right, Chase. Congratulations on your offer, man, and thanks for taking time out with us. And good luck on a very, very successful
Yes, sir.
senior year.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Uh huh. That was 2021 defensive back prospect, newly offered by Coach Sam Carter today, Demetrius. Chase Lowry of Frisco, Texas, Frisco High School. And when you look at this kid, 6 foot, 175, 4.4 speed, that's savage. The coverage skills from what I saw, yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Man, like I said, they're recruiting athletes that don't play just defensive back. Did you see the receiver highlights? I'm surprised, Coach Step.
You know?
Hey man, you might want to come over. You in the wrong room right now.
I
So
mean, goodness, it just it's something that you as a fan base and being in the media and covering the Razorbacks or any type of program, you want to have the athletes that sometimes can get you in venues that you may not have a chance to go to, and you get to cover these programs and these teams and these environments. And I think having Coach Pittman come in, a guy that, and I'm a believer, you have to have a dog as a head coach. And what I mean by that is someone that just eats, sleeps, and drinks recruiting and understands that part of it. Because if you don't have the Jimmies and the Joes, doesn't matter what you do. And I think that's what Sam Pittman is a nationally known recruiter, was just in the top 25 recruiters before he came to Arkansas to take the head job. You go look at Scott Fountain when he was at Auburn. Scott's been in the top 20 recruiters. Barry Odom's had the privilege just a couple years ago when he signed that great freshman class of receivers. Justin Stepp, Kendall Browse has been a national recruiter. Derek LeBlanc, Brad Davis, you can see what they're starting to do. These guys get it. And I think, Sam Carter, Ryan Rhodes, John Cooper, Jimmy Smith. These guys are going to really make a name for themselves over the years recruiting because they just have an eye for talent. And the thing that I like about this staff, and I've liked several staffs, but the thing that sticks out to me is their hunger to recruit, but this staff seems to have a plan and a direction for which way they want to go. The type of program that Coach Pittman wants to build. And every one of the coaches under Coach Pittman, they see that vision and work in daylight to dawn to get that accomplished. And I think a lot sooner than later, Brad Davis said in the interview, when you get to campus and you see this staff and see the facilities and all the things that they have here at your disposal as an athlete at the University of Arkansas, and then you meet that staff and you meet the head man, Coach Pittman, in that Sunday sit-down, Demetrius, it's going to be real hard to tell them no. It's going to be real hard to tell this staff no once the relationships that we see being built start to come to fruition.
I think it's going to be hard to tell this program no if they get 5 games.
Oh, man.
I think if they win, I know we always talking championships. As my father always tells me, we're not chasing wins, we're chasing championships.
Right.
But I think if Arkansas.
You didn't say it right. You got to put the S.
Championships. That's multiple. But I think if you look at them where they're at, just a short-term goal of, going from 2 wins to 5 wins, and of those 5 wins, at least 2 of them being SEC wins,
right.
Possibly 3. I think Sam Pittman is going to be way ahead of the curve. I know, 5 doesn't sound like a big milestone, but I think it's huge going through. Exactly. When you look at in hindsight of what Arkansas has been through this, and we won't even say the last 3 years. I'll really honestly say since Petrino's left, we haven't had stability.
Yeah.
Because even with Bielema, there was red flags that he wasn't going to get us to the promised land. Yeah. Like he came in talking about, well, I'm here to win the SEC championship. No, Pittman didn't come in talking like that, but
it's never been done. He sure did.
But the actions that Sam Pittman is doing right now is leading me to believe he can get an SEC championship.
I mean, you remember that.
He's not doing no lip service.
Beat him at the Tennessee game on the court. We're going to do things that never been done here. Yeah, you absolutely did. You absolutely 100%, Coach B, hit it dead on the head. And you did things that we hope we never see again. I mean, the program was not left in the shape as it was when Brett got it. I think that 2012, you have to throw that season out. Those kids were so distraught. I mean, they lost their coach coming off great years back-to-back, and then to have the rug just pulled out from under them. I think that was a year we all saw coming. Last-minute coach, you get a guy that smile. I'll never forget that. Smile. Getting beat 50-0, and you want to smile. I mean, that was a year. He had a couple years, did Brett, coming in, but not to the degree. I think, as Sam Pittman was able to, secure those first 3 years by having the biggest offensive line and being able to recruit guys like Denver Kirkland, Sebastian Tretola, Frank Ragnall, Dan Skipper comes to mind. Being able to get those guys, that helped over the years, but when they left, we saw how the drop-off happened. I mean, 35 sacks, Demetrius, in 3 years with Pittman. They give up 36 the initial year that he's gone in 2016. 36 sacks in one season.
And you can almost, look at this recruiting class that he's been recruiting in, as far as offensive linemen. They're very similar to that group that he initially brought in.
Yes, they are.
The only thing I'll give this group is they're a little bit more athletic. Dan Skipper was, 7 foot. He's going to get linemen equal size, but I just think the footwork and technique that he's recruiting now is on a totally different level than when he before he left.
Without question. But that's going to wrap up our show today. We had a great show, and we're going to continue on tomorrow. But we want to give a thank you to our guest. That being said, Chase Lowry of Frisco, Texas, Frisco High School, for coming on, being our featured guest on the Hall Guy segment. The 2021 defensive back had a lot of positive to say, and from the looks of it, Arkansas is really, really, really going to make Chase a top priority if Sam Carter has anything to do with it. We want to thank Chase, and we want to thank our producer, Demetrius Johnson. We want to thank our sponsors, Lindsay & Associates, with an office location in Fayetteville, 1, also 2 in Rogers, Locomotion, located just below the Northwest Arkansas Mall in Fayetteville, Corey Beck's Custom Painting, and lastly, KDK's Chicken. They're down at 989 South Razorback Road. Go see Keith and Kathy. Get a plate of that love. And like I said, it's not your mama's. I say it's the best chicken and waffles in the South. Meet us there or beat us there. That's KDK's Chicken at 989 South Razorback Road. But that's going to do it for myself. Demetrius, thank you all for viewing, listening. Hey, when we have open lines, talk to us. We like to run our mouth too, and we know you got a lot of questions, so don't be scared to dial 601-7400. But that's going to do it for today. We'll be back tomorrow. It's On the Hill with Pat Jenkins on KDSJ 479. Let's get it.
TP God.